So it's finally begun, the 2019 plan of creating 1-minute bite-sized tutorials followed by 4 or 5 minutes of me working out that idea to the camera. So what we've done so far this week is an introduction video showing you the 36 patterns that we're going to learn. And we're going to learn those 36 patterns by understanding timing and direction and the 4 basic motions. So timing and direction refers to how 2 objects in space move in relationship to one another. So there's 2 timings and 2 directions, meaning 4 combinations. And then there are 4 basic motions: extension, isolation, linear, vertical linear isolation, and horizontal linear isolation. With 4 timings and directions, you have 4, 8, 12, 16 patterns there. And if I said 30 something earlier, then I misspoke, because we're learning 16 patterns. To kind of go over all that once, this is just for notes. It'll all be broken down piece by piece. We went through with just our hands, together time, same direction, like this, here, 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 and here. We're going to count for all of these timings and directions and to draw our roadmap for how to transition between them by paying attention to these 2 points and these 2 points, and where the hands and props relate to each other in those areas. So together time, same direction. They're both going the same way, and they're hitting all 4 points at the same time. Bop, 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 bop. We went from together time, same direction, to split time, opposite direction. So they're going in the opposite direction, and they're always directly across from each other. And we went from there to split time, same direction. So they're all, it's going 1, 2, 1, 2 instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And it is same direction again. They are both traveling in this orientation. So here. From there we went into together time, opposite direction. So instead of hitting on the sides here, we're looking at hitting on the top and bottom and being split at the sides. Sort of a mirror or a flip of split time, opposite direction. Then we did the 4 basic motions. These all include a prop, and they all include a point past the head, past the hand. And I'm always going to call this the head, whether it's a poi. I might hold a hoop and draw a line across the hoop and call that the head, or with 8 rings or double stabs or anything like that. It's kind of the idea. So in an extension, you have the handle and the head, both traveling in a circle. The hand draws a smaller circle, the prop head draws a larger circle like a big donut. Extension. Isolation is very similar. Instead, the hand travels around the head, so you have a very small circle and a very large circle, sort of similarly to the other. And this isn't the most precise isolation. This is just kind of a side note that we're not doing this sort of thing where we're legitimately isolating the object as much as just putting the handle around the head instead of the other way around. Then you have the vertical linear isolation. So this is going to be kind of a combination between an extension and an isolation. You're going to see, imagine this line right here, and the head of the prop is going to stick to it like it's magnetized. This is kind of the best imagery I have for it. But the idea is that the head is isolated in linearly, and the hand is still moving in a circle, just like it normally is. Which is also going to give you, again, kind of like with the isolation, you could do this perfect cat eye, or you could do one that's kind of guided by the hand And so again, I actually just said cat-eye. This would be your linear isolation, this very precise isolation occurring on a line. A cat-eye is the one that's going to lead by the hand. This is just my own way of looking at it, where you end up with an ellipse inside of your circle. Ellipse drawn by the head and a circle drawn by the handle. That was the third motion, and the fourth motion being a horizontal linear isolation along this line instead. So we're here, and again, you can do this sort of perfect one where you are maintaining the line more so than the geometry of the body, or you can maintain the circle of the hand and end up more so again with a cat-eye or an ellipse inside of a circle. So by doing those two things with two hands, you end up with 16 patterns, and then we're going to talk about hybrids. We will talk about a handful of other things like defining planes, wall and wheel plane, floor plane, and all sorts of other stuff. So if you guys think of anything you want me to cover in the future, I'm going to tackle this series, but I'll be taking notes on what people ask for. So enjoy the ride, share if you want. This stuff is going to inform all of your object manipulation, not just your poi spinning or your club spinning or anything. It's just, it's a really interesting way to even just kind of look at the world and kind of see how things move. So, I like it a lot. Let's nerd out and have a nice everything from now until next time.